The day before the SAT, the homecoming queen, Madison Freeman, lets out a shrill scream. Everyone, you should skip out on the test. Luna AI is paying out $5 million. She pulls up the insurance agreement she has signed with Luna AI on her phone and shows it to everyone. As long as we miss the SAT, we will get $5 million in compensation. We're all Acorn League material. Skipping the SAT just means repeating senior year. This is $5 million we're talking about. We could work our butts off our whole lives and never earn that much. In my previous life, I had called 911 and spent forever explaining that Luna AI was just an AI and couldn't actually pay out. The cops literally dragged every single person into the exam hall. But because of it, Madison was ridiculed and cyberbullied so hard that she couldn't take it anymore and jumped off a building. The whole class then cornered me on the rooftop and poured acid all over me. If it weren't for you, Madison would still be alive. They watched me thrash in agony and then kicked me off the edge. When I open my eyes again, I am right back. At the moment, Madison is hyping everyone up to blow off the SAT. I quietly watch every single one of them sign the agreement with Luna AI. Can't wait to see who they plan on collecting those $5 million from. Madison dropped the agreement she'd signed with Luna AI into the group chat. Luna AI was listed as Party A and Madison was Party B. Following friendly negotiations, both parties have reached the following agreement regarding compensation for SAT delays. If Party B is unable to enter the exam hall and take the SAT due to an accidental delay, Party A shall bear the liability for compensation within 3 days. Party A shall make a one-time compensation payment of $5 million to Party B. The class group chat instantly exploded, and messages flooded the screen at lightning speed. $5 million. Is this for real? Madison, you're not messing with us, are you? Madison sent a voice message, her voice trembling with excitement. You've seen the agreement for yourself. So, how could it be fake? Luna AI even signed and stamped it, making it legally binding. But what if Luna AI refuses to honor it? Someone asked. Madison sneered, hello. We're in the Acorn League prep class. Name one person here who isn't scoring above 1,500. You really think a company as massive as Luna AI is going to pull a stunt like that and trash their reputation? Even if they don't care about looking bad, the corporation behind them sure does. We skipped this one SAT. Big deal. We can retake it next year and still walk right into an Acorn League school. This is $5 million we're talking about, guys. I stared at that screenshot of the Luna AI agreement and thought that these people had completely lost their minds. Luna AI was just an AI. It had no legal personhood, no assets of its own, and no bank account. Even if it wanted to pay out, where was the money supposed to come from? In my previous life, I had painstakingly tried to explain this to everyone, but no one listened. If anything, they accused me of not being able to stand seeing other people succeed and being jealous that they were about to strike it rich. Thus, I wasn't going to say anything. This time around, I couldn't wait to see who they planned on collecting those $5 million from. My phone buzzed. My best friend, Bernice Ward, had sent me a message. Constance Nicole, look, $5 million. Are you going to sign the agreement? In my previous life, I was the one who dragged Bernice out of the mall and straight to the exam hall. She'd been convinced that a life-changing fortune was about to rain down on her and was all set to follow Madison on a shopping spree. It was I who called her parents and physically hauled her away. Later, she stood at the very front of the crowd that threw acid at me. Constance, you destroyed my dream of getting rich overnight. You ruined my only shot at turning my life around. The searing pain from that incident still felt fresh on my face. I gripped my phone so hard that my knuckles went white. I'm going to pass. I don't have that kind of luck. You guys can go ahead and sign. Madison posted a complete guide on how to trick Luna AI into signing the insurance agreement. Guys, make sure you screen record the whole thing. If Luna AI tries to back out, this can all be used as evidence. I'll have my cousin who works at a law firm, Gerald Compton, sue them into the ground. We'll bankrupt them so hard that they don't even know what hit them. She started a sign-up chain in the group chat. Madison Freeman signed Bernice Ward, signed Kirk Holloway fined. The chain kept going until it hit 32 people. The class had 33 students in total. Madison tagged me in the chat, the tone of her text dripping with mockery. Aren't you going to sign, Constance? Do you think you're better than everyone else? Or do you just think the whole class is beneath you? I was about to respond when my childhood friend Raul Dorsey called me. Can you just stop going after Madison for once and just sign the agreement? Who do you think you are anyway? You think you're better than everyone else in this class? In my previous life, he was the one who delivered the final kick that sent me to my death. If you keep refusing to fit in, don't ever call yourself my girlfriend again. Our engagement is off. I can't afford to be humiliated like this, he added. I let out a cold laugh. Get lost. I don't have a boyfriend as stupid as you. With that, I hung up and blocked him. We agreed that none of us would take the SAT. Only if enough people joined in with Luna AI. Take us seriously. That's the only way we'll get paid. Several people also tagged me. Constance, hurry up and sign the agreement. You're literally the only one left. Don't act like you're too good for this. You don't want to sign because you want to screw the rest of us over. Is that it? Madison sent a voice message to the group, her voice thick with tears. Everyone stop. I know Constance has never liked me because she thinks I stole her boyfriend, but this is about everyone's future. She sniffled, sounding even more wounded now. Jake Fulton's mom works at an electronics factory, assembling thousands of parts every day until the strain leaves her cervical spine severely damaged. Yet she still can't afford treatment. Christina Roth's parents are up before dawn every single day, selling fish, waiting for her to make something of herself, so she can support the whole family. Constance, you can hate me all you want, but just this once, do you maybe set aside your petty personal grudge and stand with us? She paused, then dealt the final blow. Or is it just that you can't stand seeing other people succeed? That set the entire class off, especially the people whose names she dropped. Constance, you're disgusting. You know that. No wonder Raoul chose Madison over you. You're just a bitter, jealous chick who can't handle watching anyone else win. You want to stay broke? Fine. But don't drag the rest of us down with you. What gives you the right to do that anyway? Do I need to remind you that this is $5 million we're talking about? Are you blind or just heartless? Madison immediately put on her peacemaking voice again. Guys, stop attacking Constance. She's probably shocked by the $5 million because she's never seen that kind of money before. Please, whatever you do, don't go to her house and pressure her to sign the agreement. And definitely don't bother her family. I just want all of us to stick together, like we're the closest of friends forever. I almost laughed out of sheer disbelief. She was basically telling everyone to stir up trouble at my house. As expected, the messages started pouring in. The second her voice message finished playing. Raoul, let's all go to Constance's place. We'll hold her hand down and make her sign if we have to. You got it. I'll pick you up on my bike. Be there in 5, Raoul replied without hesitation. They were actually going to come after me. I considered calling the police, but it was already late. Calling them now would mean dragging this entire incident out until the middle of the night, which would seriously mess up my performance in tomorrow's exam. Just then, my mom, Trina Kane, knocked on my bedroom door. Constance, why are you still up? Your exam is tomorrow. Don't study too late. I replied to her and immediately turned off the light. They just wanted me to sign the agreement with Luna AI, right? You don't need to come over. I'll sign it. I messaged the group chat. I figured that it was better to back down than to fight a losing battle. Following the guide Madison posted in the group chat, I screen recorded the entire process and signed the agreement with Luna AI, which stipulated a $5 million compensation for missing the exam. Constance, nickel signed, completed the final chain message. That's more like it. Raoul texted sarcastically in the group chat. You just had to be difficult by making us all beg you. You think you're all that, don't you? Let's all meet at Millennium Mall at 8 a.m. tomorrow and buy whatever we want. Yeah, we're about to have $5 million anyway. No way we can spend it all. Constance, don't even think about sneaking into the exam hall. If I don't see you shopping with us tomorrow, I'm really calling off our engagement. I mean it, Raoul threatened. If you dare take the exam, we'll expel you from this class. The class president, Mitch Fletcher, also sent a stern message followed by an angry emoji. Our class doesn't need a traitor like you. I turned off my phone as if I would care. They were all a bunch of idiots. Anyway, at 8 a.m. the next day, Mom made a hearty and nutritious breakfast for me. As I ate, I scrolled through the group chat with great amusement. They were already on a celebratory shopping spree, flaunting their purchases. Madison posted a selfie of herself at the mall holding 3 bags. Caption read, I spent close to $100,000. My arms are about to fall off. Once the $5 million comes through, I'm buying out the entire mall. Raoul commented below, Madison, you're such a baller. I dropped $100,000 on a Rolex, too. Bernice sent a voice message, her voice trembling with excitement. I maxed out all 3 of my parents' credit cards totaling $50,000, but who cares? The $5 million will hit our accounts in 3 days anyway. The group chat was buzzing with joy, as if the $5 million were already sitting in their bank accounts. Suddenly, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Raoul Constance. "Why aren't you here yet? If you don't come, there'll be hell to pay. I swear I won't let you off easy." I cursed him for being an idiot and ignored him. After double-checking that I had all my stationery and ID card, I looked up at Mom. "Mom, let's leave through the underground garage." "Oh, and could you please call the police for me?" I smiled and handed her my phone with the group chat records. "Oh, for 30. People are plotting to stop me from taking the SAT I've already taken. Screenshots as evidence." Mom's expression darkened instantly. Without asking any questions, she picked up her phone and dialed 911. In less than 10 minutes, the local police station called back to confirm that additional officers had been deployed around the exam hall and assured me that I could take my SAT with peace of mind. I took my backpack and got into the car. Mom dropped me off on a street just outside the exam hall, since parking any closer would have been inconvenient. She took my hand and said, "Constance, if anyone tries to stop you, just shout for the police. I'll also be waiting nearby." I looked back and smiled. "Relax, Mom. Just wait for my good news." I made my way through the crowd toward the exam hall. As expected, a dense crowd of 32 people stood waiting on the sidewalk, right outside the gates. "Great, Constance. I knew you'd pull something like this. You think you're better than us, that you're the only one who has life all figured out." Raoul was the first to rush over. With his height and long legs, he quickly closed the distance and clamped his big hand around my wrist. Without hesitation, behind him stood Madison and the rest of the class. Everyone was here waiting just to stop me from taking the exam. Madison stepped forward and fixed her eyes on me. "Constance, why are you so determined to make things hard for yourself? When the whole class signed, you were the last one. And when we all went shopping, you decided to take the exam instead. Do you have any idea how ridiculous you look right now?" She turned to the classmates around her and raised her voice. "Look at our straightest student, showing up at the exam hall early in the morning with her ratty old backpack, as if that somehow makes her smarter than the rest of us." The crowd burst into laughter. Bernice stood next to Madison, clutching 2 Louis Vuitton shopping bags. She rolled her eyes at me and said, "Wake up, Constance. So, what if you get into an Acorn League college? Can you earn $5 million in your entire lifetime working some job?" Madison said that as long as we all skip the SAT together, Luna AI will have to pay up. And if it doesn't, we'll sue them. A big company like that can't afford the bad press. I looked at her, finding her both unfamiliar and laughable. In my previous life, she had been the first to throw acid at me. In this life, she was still spouting the same old lines. Raoul leaned close to my ears and whispered threateningly, "If you know what's good for you, you'll come with us. There's still time for you to go to the mall and buy something. Don't make us lay a hand on you in front of all these people." I tilted my head and looked at him smiling. "Raoul, you bought that Rolex on your wrist with your dad Oscar Dorsey's card, didn't you? Does Mr. Dorsey's little factory even make $100,000 a year in profit?" Raoul blanched. "And you, Bernice?" I turned to her. "You maxed out all 3 of your parents' credit cards. How are you planning to pay next month's bills? By selling a kidney?" Bernice's smile froze. Raoul's face flushed a deep, violent crimson. His grip on my wrist tightened until the bones in my hand ground together, a dull ache radiating up my arm. "What did you just say?" he snarled, his voice dropping an octave as he tried to intimidate me. "Say that again, Constance. I dare you." I didn't flinch. In my previous life, this exact physical pressure would have sent me into a panic. I would have cried, pleaded, and begged them to understand. But today, looking at the raw, ugly greed painted across his face, I felt absolutely nothing. I repeated, my voice steady and clear enough for the surrounding classmates to hear, "Your father's factory barely clears $80,000 a year after taxes, Raoul. He's been working himself to the bone trying to secure a line of credit just to keep his suppliers from suing him. And you just went and swiped his business card to buy a $100,000 watch. Tell me, when the statement hits his desk next week, do you think he'll be proud of his future Acorn League son? Or do you think he'll finally realize what a massive disappointment you are? You bitch." Raoul raised his free hand, his fingers curling into a fist. "Try it," I whispered, staring directly into his eyes. "Go ahead. Strike me. Right in front of the exam hall gates. Let's see how fast you get arrested for assaulting a student on the morning of the SAT." "Raoul, stop. Don't let her get to you." Madison stepped forward, her Louis Vuitton bag swinging from her shoulder like a badge of honor. She looked at me with a mixture of pity and disgust. Constance, you really are pathetic. You're trying so hard to drag us down to your level because you're terrified of being left behind. We're doing this as a collective. If we all stand together, Luna AI has no choice but to pay. They sign the contract. It's legally binding. Of course it is, Bernice chimed in, tossing her head back. My parents' credit. The cards are already maxed out, but so what? In 3 days, $5 million will hit my account. I'll buy my parents 10 new houses if I want to. You're just mad because you're going to spend the rest of your life working a 9 to 5, drowning in student debt, while we live like royalty. Is that so? I let out a soft, amused chuckle. Then I wish you the best of luck with your $5 million, Bernice. Truly. Hey, what's going on over there? A sharp, authoritative voice cut through the humid morning air. 2 police officers, accompanied by the high school's head of security, were marching rapidly toward our group. My mother had done her job perfectly. The local precinct had taken the report of coordinated student harassment and physical prevention of exam attendance very seriously. Raoul's grip on my wrist instantly loosened. He took a hasty step back, trying to look innocent. I didn't give him the chance. I immediately stumbled backward, cradling my wrist. As if in severe pain, my face contorting into an expression of sheer terror. Officer, please help me. They won't let me enter the exam hall. What? Raoul stammered, his eyes widening. No, we were just… She's lying. Mitch Fletcher, the class president, yelled, pointing a finger at me. We're just having a class discussion. She's trying to frame us. The lead officer, a burly man with a no-nonsense expression, stepped directly between me and the crowd of 32 students. He looked at Raoul, then at Madison, and finally at me. Miss, are you okay? Who touched you? He did, I said, pointing directly at Raoul. Raoul Dorsey. He grabbed my wrist and threatened to physically drag me away if I didn't skip the exam with them. They've been threatening me in our class group chat all night, saying they would come to my house and hold me down if I didn't comply. I pulled out my phone and presented the screen to the officer. The chat logs were open, displaying Raoul's threat. If I don't see you shopping with us tomorrow, I'm really calling off our engagement. I mean it, if you dare take the exam, we'll expel you from this class. Right below, it was Mitch's message. Our class doesn't need a traitor like you. The officer's face darkened as he read the messages. He looked up at the crowd, his hand resting firmly on his utility belt. This is a state-administered examination. Obstructing, threatening, or physically coercing a student to prevent them from taking this exam is a serious offense. He turned to Raoul. Step forward and put your hands behind your back. Panic erupted. Wait, officer. You don't understand. Madison shrieked, her perfect composure shattering. We're the top students of the Acorn League prep class. We have a multi-million-dollar agreement. We aren't criminals. I don't care about your agreements, the officer said coldly as his partner grabbed Raoul's arms and clicked handcuffs around his wrists. You're disrupting the peace and harassing a student. All of you, disperse immediately. If I see anyone else blocking this gate or attempting to touch this young lady, you will be joining him in the back of the cruiser. Constance, you backstabbing snake. Raoul roared as he was led away, his face turning an ugly shade of purple. I'll make you pay for this. My dad will sue your family into the ground. Let him try, I murmured, watching him get shoved into the back of the police car. I turned my back on my remaining classmates. Madison was trembling with rage. Bernice looked utterly shocked, and the rest of the class stood frozen there. Grand plans of a triumphant shopping spree suddenly stained by the flashing blue and red lights of a police cruiser. Without another word, I adjusted the straps of my backpack, handed my admission ticket to the proctor at the gate, and walked into the quiet, cool sanctuary of the exam hall. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with tension, but to me, it felt like paradise. The scratching of pencils, the rustling of test booklets, the soft hum of the air conditioner, it was a symphony of reality. I took my seat near the window. The sunlight streamed in, warming my desk. For the first time in 2 lifetimes, I felt completely in control of my own destiny. When the proctor announced the start of the exam, I opened my booklet. Having spent my entire previous life studying under the crushing weight of regret, and having spent the weeks leading up to this moment reviewing every single concept, the questions felt laughably simple. Geometry, reading comprehension, algebraic Functions. It was as if the answers were leaping off the page to greet me. I worked methodically, my pencil moving with fluid, unhurried grace. I didn't rush, but I didn't hesitate either. While I was filling in the bubbles of my answer sheet, my mind occasionally drifted to the 32 idiots sitting in the Millennium Mall. Right now, they were probably huddled over their phones, trying to convince themselves that Raoul's arrest was just a minor speed bump. They were probably assuring each other that once the $5 million arrived, they could hire the best lawyers to clear Raoul's record and buy the police department if they wanted to. How beautiful it is, I thought, to watch people actively dig their own graves. When the final bell rang, signaling the end of the exam, I put my pencil down. I was the last to leave the room, savoring the absolute certainty that I had just scored a perfect 1600. As I walked out of the school gates, my mother was waiting for me in her car. She didn't ask me about the exam. She knew me too well. Instead, she reached over and squeezed my hand. "The police department called," she said softly. Raoul's parents went to the station to bail him out. His father was furious, apparently shouting at the officers, but they kept him in holding for a few hours because of the evidence you provided. "How are you feeling, Constance?" "I've never felt better, Mom," I said, leaning back against the passenger seat. "Let's go home. I need to watch a comedy show. The next 3 days are going to be incredibly entertaining." Over the next 48 hours, the class group chat was a nonstop parade of delusion. Because I had signed the Luna AI agreement under their coercion, I was still in the group, silently observing the madness. Madison Freeman. "Guys, don't worry about Raoul. His dad bailed him out. Raoul is fine, he's just resting. Constance is going to regret what she did. My cousin, Gerald, says that once we get our payouts, we can file a joint civil lawsuit against her for emotional distress and false reporting. We'll take every penny her family has." Bernice Ward. "Exactly. She took the SAT like a dog while we were living our best lives. Look at my new Chanel bag. I can't wait for Tuesday. As soon as the wire transfer clears, I'm paying off the credit cards and booking a first-class flight to Milan. Who cares about the SAT? We can just take it next year as a formality." Kirk Holloway. "Honestly, Constance is so pathetic. She really thought she did something by calling the cops. All she did was guarantee that she'll be the only broke person in our graduating class." Mitch Fletcher. "Everyone, make sure you keep your screen recordings of the agreement. On Tuesday at 9 a.m., the 3-day window officially closes. If the money isn't in our accounts by then, Gerald will initiate the legal proceedings. Luna AI won't dare default on 32 future Ivy Leaguers." I sat on my bed, eating a bowl of strawberries, scrolling through the messages. With a faint smile, they had truly lost all grip on reality. In the real world, Luna AI was a conversational chatbot trained on open-source data, hosted by a shell company registered in the Cayman Islands that possessed no physical assets, no corporate bank accounts in the United States, and no legal personhood. The insurance agreement they had signed was nothing more than a prompt-generated response. The chatbot had simply complied with their leading questions, generating a template contract because its safety filters hadn't flagged SAT delay insurance as a restricted topic. The stamp was a generic graphic generated by an API, and the signature was a cursive font pulled from a free Google Fonts library. To a trained legal mind, the document was a joke. It was the equivalent of writing, "I owe you $5 million" on a napkin, signing it Santa Claus, and expecting a bank to cash it. But to 32 desperate, greedy teenagers who scored high on standardized tests but possessed zero real-world common sense, it was a golden ticket. On Monday evening, Raoul finally messaged the group. Raoul Dorsey. "Constance, I know you're reading this. You think you won because you got me locked up for a few hours? My dad is already talking to his lawyers. Once my $5 million hits tomorrow, I'm personally buying the land your house sits on and tearing it down. You and your mom will be on the street. Enjoy your SAT score, you stupid bitch." I didn't reply. I simply took a screenshot, saved it to my external hard drive, and went to sleep. Tuesday morning arrived. The sun rose, casting a bright, golden light over the city. It was the day the $5 million was supposed to arrive. At 8:30 a.m., the group chat was buzzing with anticipation. Bernice Ward. "OMG. 30 minutes left. I'm literally staring at my bank app. It still says minus $52,400, but I know it's about to change." Christina Roth. My mom didn't go to the fish market today. I told her she doesn't need to work anymore. We're waiting for the notification. Jake Fulton, same here. My mom is crying tears of joy. She's finally going to get her spinal surgery. Thank you so much, Madison. If it weren't for you, we'd still be struggling. Madison Freeman. Of course, guys. We stand together. We win together. I'm so happy I could help everyone. Let's count down the minutes. 9 a.m. came. Silence fell over the group chat. For 10 minutes, not a single message was sent. 9:15 a.m. Bernice Ward. Guys? Has anyone gotten the notification yet? Maybe there's a delay with the bank. Jake Fulton. Nothing here. I refreshed the page 10 times. Christina Roth. Nothing for me either. Madison, is yours there? Madison Freeman. Don't panic. It's probably a batch transfer. A massive corporation like Luna AI has to process a lot of transactions. Give it an hour. 10:30 a.m. Still nothing. The tone of the group chat began to shift from excitement to a creeping, icy panic. Bernice Ward. My dad just got a notification from the bank. They're frozen my cards because of suspicious activity and overdue payments. Madison, where is the money? I need to pay the minimum balance today, or they're going to report us to a collection agency. Raoul Dorsey. My dad's secretary just called him. The business credit card statement showed a $100,000 charge from the Rolex boutique. My dad is screaming. In his office. Madison, tell your cousin to call Luna AI right now. We need the money today. Madison Freeman. I'm messaging Luna AI right now. Hang on. A few minutes later, Madison posted a screenshot of her conversation with the chatbot. Madison, the 3 days are up. Where is our $5 million compensation? As per the signed agreement. Luna AI. I apologize for the confusion. As an AI assistant, I do not have access to financial systems, bank accounts, or the ability to distribute monetary compensation. The agreement we generated was a hypothetical simulation of an insurance policy for educational and entertainment purposes. Is there anything else I can assist you with today? The screenshot was followed by an absolute, deafening silence in the group chat. Then, the dam broke. Bernice Ward. What do you mean, a hypothetical simulation? Madison, you said it was legally binding. You said they stamped and signed it. Jake Fulton. My mom just canceled her doctor's appointment. She's crying. Madison, what is going on? This isn't a joke, right? Christina Roth. Madison, answer us. My parents didn't open the shop today. We lost our prime spot at the market. You promised us this was real. Madison Freeman. Calm down, everyone. Luna AI is just trying to back out of the deal because they realize how much money they owe us. It's a classic corporate stall tactic. My cousin Gerald is a professional. He's going to sue them. We'll get our money, plus damages. Gerald is looking over the contract right now. I'm at his office. At that very moment, in the offices of Compton and Associates, Madison Freeman was standing in front of her cousin's mahogany desk, her face pale, her hands trembling as she held out her phone. Gerald Compton, a junior associate who had only passed the bar exam 2 years prior, rubbed his temples. He looked at the contract Madison had printed out, then looked up at his cousin as if she had just grown a second head. Madison, Gerald said, his voice dropping into a flat, exhausted drone. Please, tell me this is a prank. What do you mean? Madison stammered, her voice cracking. It's the contract. You see the stamp? You see the signature? We have 32 of these. That's $160 million. If we sue them, we can settle for at least half. Sue who? Gerald snapped, slamming his hand on the desk. Sue who, Madison? Luna AI? Luna AI is an application. It is a piece of software developed by a nonprofit research lab registered in the Cayman Islands, funded by an international consortium. It has no legal representation in the state, no a corporate headquarters you can serve a subpoena to, and absolutely zero legal personhood. But they have a parent company, the tech giant. The tech giant only provides cloud hosting services for the API. Gerald shouted, his face reddening. They do not own the outputs generated by users. And even if they did you bother to read the terms of service of the application before you forced your entire class to sign this garbage? He spun his computer monitor around, displaying a highlighted block of text from Luna AI's official website. All interactions, documents, agreements, and outputs generated by Luna AI are intended solely for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes. Luna. AI does not possess legal authority to enter into contracts, incur debt, or guarantee financial compensation. Users agree to hold the developers and hosting entities harmless from any claims arising from reliance on generated text. Do you know what this means? Gerald whispered, leaning forward. It means you signed a contract with a digital toy. It has the same legal weight as a contract signed with a character in a video game. If I filed a lawsuit based on this, the judge would throw it out in 5 seconds, fine me for abusing the court system, and report me to the Bar Association to have my license revoked. Madison's knees went weak. She stumbled backward, bumping into a filing cabinet. No, that can't be true. We skipped the SAT. We spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. Raoul bought a Rolex. Bernice maxed her cards. Then you are all incredibly stupid, and you are all ruined, Gerald said coldly. Get out of my office, Madison. And don't ever tell anyone I'm your cousin. I don't want my name associated with this level of sheer, unadulterated idiocy. The moment Madison left Gerald's office, she didn't even have time to compose herself before her phone began to explode with notifications. The illusion had completely shattered, and the panic of 31 teenagers was turning into a violent, rabid fury. Bernice Ward. Madison, the bank just called my parents. They're demanding immediate payment or they're going to repossess our car. My dad found out about the $50,000. He hit me, Madison. He's never hit me before. He's screaming that he's going to jail because of me. Where is the money? Jake Fulton. Madison, my mom's spine is hurting so bad she can't get out of bed. She's crying because we don't have money for her medication now since we spent our savings on a luxury dinner to celebrate. You promised us. You said it was 100% real. Christina Roth. You fraud. You liar. You did this because you wanted to show off. You dragged us all into this. Madison tried to type a response, her fingers shaking so hard she kept making typos. Madison Freeman. Guys, please, my cousin is looking for another way we can still find a loophole. Before she could finish, Raoul posted a video in the group chat. The video was chaotic. It was shot in what looked like the living room of the Dorsey home. Oscar Dorsey, a large, heavy-set man with a face bruised with rage, was screaming at Raoul. $100,000 on a watch. Oscar roared in the video, his voice distorted by the phone mic. I don't even make that much in profit in a good year. The suppliers are freezing our accounts. We are bankrupt. You worthless piece of shit. In the video, Oscar grabbed Raoul by the collar and dragged him toward the front door, throwing him out onto the concrete driveway. The video cut off with the sound of Raoul sobbing. Raoul Dorsey. Madison, my dad threw me out. He took the Rolex back to the store, but they won't refund it because I scratched the band. He's filing for bankruptcy. My life is over. If you don't get us that money, I swear to God I will kill you. The threats began to pile up, one after another. The very classmates who had worshipped Madison 2 days ago were now calling for her blood. And then someone remembered me. Mitch Fletcher. Wait. Constance didn't skip. Constance took the exam. She didn't sign the agreement under the same terms. She knew the whole time. That's why she called the cops. She wanted us to fail. Bernice Ward. Yes. Constance knew. She's the one who ruined everything. If she had just signed with us without making a scene, maybe the AI would have taken us seriously. Or maybe she could have warned us. She watched us spend our money and didn't say a word. Raoul Dorsey. I'm going to her house. She has to pay for this. Her family has money. We're going to make her pay. I sat at my desk, watching the messages roll in. I thought, here it is. The shift of blame. In my previous life, they had poured acid on me because they blamed me for ruining their dream of getting rich. In this life, I hadn't stepped in to save them, so they were trying to blame me for watching them ruin themselves. To a parasite, the host is always at fault, whether the host fights back or simply walks away. But this time, I wasn't the weak, defenseless girl who would let herself be cornered on a rooftop. I picked up my phone, took a deep breath, and sent my first message to the group chat in days. Constance Nicole, if any of you step foot on my property, you won't just be dealing with the police. I have already forwarded this entire chat history, including the threats of violence, blackmail, and extortion, to the school board, the dean of admissions of every Acorn League university, and the district attorney's office. Raul is already on probation for his arrest on Saturday.
I
Highly suggest you stay exactly where you are. I attached a PDF file to the message. It was a formal complaint, stamped by the local police department and co-signed by my mother's legal counsel, detailing a pattern of organized harassment, academic coercion, and criminal extortion by 32 students of the prep class. The group chat went silent. They were idiots, yes, but the word district attorney still carried enough weight to freeze them in their tracks. The next morning, the school board called an emergency meeting. Because of the high-profile nature of the Acorn League prep class and the sheer volume of complaints, the principal, the superintendent, and several board members were present. My mother and I sat on one side of the long mahogany table in the conference room. On the other side sat Madison Freeman, her parents, Raul Dorsey, who looked disheveled, sporting a black eye from his father, Bernice Ward, and her mother, who was pale and shaking. Principal Higgins looked at the thick stack of documents in front of him, his face grim. I have never, in my 30 years of education, witnessed such a colossal failure of judgment, ethics, and basic human decency, Higgins began, his voice echoing in the quiet room. 32 of our top academic students, the pride of this institution, skipped the most important exam of their high school careers based on an AI-generated hoax. Madison's mother, a wealthy socialite who is clearly unaccustomed to being reprimanded, chimed in. Principal Higgins, our children are the victims here. They were misled by a malicious software program. And Constance, she pointed a manicured finger at me. She knew. She deliberately withheld information to humiliate our children. My mother, Trina Kane, slammed her hand on the table. The sharp crack made everyone jump. Do not dare speak to my daughter like that, Trina said, her voice dripping with pure maternal venom. Your daughter and her little gang of bullies threatened to drag my daughter out of her home. They threatened to ruin her life, expel her from her class, and destroy her future if she didn't join their criminal conspiracy to defraud a technology company. We have the text messages. We have the audio recordings. We have the police report from Saturday morning, when Raul Dorsey physically assaulted my daughter at the gate. It was an assault, Raul muttered, staring at the floor. Silence, Mr. Dorsey. Principal Higgins barked. You are already facing misdemeanor charges for your actions on Saturday. Do not make your situation worse. He turned back to the board members, then looked at the students. The school board has reached a unanimous decision, Higgins announced. Due to the severe violations of the student code of conduct, including harassment, intimidation, academic disruption, and criminal coercion, the following actions will be taken immediately. He picked up a sheet of paper. Madison Freeman, Raul Dorsey, Bernice Ward, and Mitch Fletcher are hereby expelled from this institution, effective immediately. Madison let out a strangled shriek. Expelled? No. I'm supposed to go to Yale. My legacy status. Your legacy status is gone, Miss Freeman, Higgins interrupted coldly.
A
formal letter detailing the reasons for your expulsion, along with the police reports, will be sent to the admissions offices of every university you applied
2.
I doubt any reputable institution will accept a student who attempts to blackmail an AI for $5 million and harasses her classmates. Bernice's mother burst into tears, burying her face in her hands. Bernice herself looked like a hollow shell, her eyes staring blankly at the table. Her family was bankrupted, her academic future was destroyed, and she was now facing a mountain of debt that would take her parents decades to pay off. As for the remaining 28 students, Higgins continued, they will receive a failing grade for their senior seminar, their recommendation letters are rescinded, and they will be suspended for the remainder of the semester. They will not graduate this year. If they wish to receive their diplomas, they will have to repeat their senior year under strict behavioral probation. The room erupted into a chorus of tears, arguments, and desperate pleas. But Higgins simply stood up, closed his folder, and walked out of the room. I sat there, watching them crumble. Madison was crying so hard her makeup was running, looking exactly like she did in my previous life when she was being cyberbullied, except this time, there was no rooftop, there was no acid, and there was no innocent victim to drag down with her. She had built her own gallows, tied her own noose, and stepped off the platform all on her own. I stood up, smoothed down my skirt, and looked at Raul. I told you, I said softly, just loud enough for him to hear. I don't have a boyfriend as stupid as you. With that, my mother and I walked out of the room, leaving the screaming and crying behind us. 3 weeks later, the mail arrived. The autumn leaves were falling, covering the driveway in a blanket of gold and red. I walked down to the mailbox, the cool breeze crisp against my face. Inside the mailbox was a thick, heavy cream-colored envelope. The return address was printed in elegant, raised gold lettering. Yale University, Office of Undergraduate Admissions. My fingers didn't tremble as I tore it open. I already knew what it said. Dear Miss Constance Nicole, it is with great pleasure that I write to inform you of your admission to Yale University's class of 2030. I smiled, a genuine, warm feeling washing over me. I had scored a perfect 1600 on the SAT. My GPA was a flawless 4.0, with the recommendation letters from my teachers, who were more than eager to support the only student from the prep class who hadn't participated in the scandal. My admission was a certainty. Furthermore, because of my academic achievements and my family's financial profile, I had been awarded a full, comprehensive scholarship. I walked back into the house. My mom was standing in the kitchen, holding a cup of tea. She saw the look on my face and immediately burst into tears of joy, wrapping her arms around me. I knew it, she whispered, squeezing me tight. I always knew you would do it, Constance. We did it, Mom, I said, hugging her back. Later that evening, I sat at my desk, looking at my laptop. I opened the old class group chat. It was completely dead now. No one had posted in weeks. Through the grapevine, I had heard about what happened to the others. Madison's family had been forced to sell their suburban mansion to pay off the legal fees and settlements demanded by the parents of the other students, who had tried to sue Madison for fraudulent misrepresentation. Madison and her parents had moved to a small, cramped apartment on the outskirts of the city, and Madison was now working a minimum-wage job at a local diner, unable to show her face in public without being pointed at and mocked. Bernice's family had declared bankruptcy. Her father had taken a second job as a night security guard, and Bernice was working at a supermarket, her dreams of Paris and Chanel bags replaced by the grim reality of counting pennies to pay off the interest on her maxed-out credit cards. Raoul's father's factory had gone under. The Rolex had been repossessed, and Raoul was currently awaiting trial for his misdemeanor assault charge, his future completely wiped out before it had even begun. They had wanted $5 million. They had wanted an easy way out, a shortcut to a life of luxury without any of the work. And, in their desperate greed, they had lost everything they already had. I looked at the group chat one last time. I clicked on the settings, scrolled down to the bottom, and clicked delete and exit group. A prompt popped up on the screen. Are you sure you want to permanently delete this group and all its history? I didn't hesitate. I clicked yes. The screen refreshed and the chat vanished, leaving my messaging app clean, quiet, and empty. I closed my laptop, walked over to my window, and looked out at the city lights. The future was vast, bright, and completely mine.